Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Liz. I've got Aria dog here beside me. She's going to be joining us through the practice, or for some of the practice. She may leave whenever she feels like it. So I'm going to go through a mobility practice today. Really nice way just to open up the body. You're going to be working through shoulders, neck, hips, hip flexors, knees, getting everything nice and open. Really nice thing to do first thing in the morning. And you can kind of take your favorite things from this and create the practice that works for you. So this will probably go for about 25, maybe 30 minutes. But if you feel like, you just don't have enough time to do the whole 30 minutes, pick out a few that really work for you and do 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then do the full practice when you've got the time and the space. So a little bit of something is better than nothing. So we're going to begin on our hands and knees. And we're going to do what we call a quadruped roll. And so hands and knees, hands are under the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And we're going to roll to one side. So think about pressing the rib cage out to the side and then rolling up and around to the other side. Drop the belly down as you come through. Press out through the rib cage, press through the palms, then rolling up through the spine. So kind of creating a circular-like motion with the body. So the arms are staying long, shoulders are away from the ears. And I'm just going to do this from the side so you can kind of see that as well. So coming out, up, and around. Really pressing through the palms as you roll up. You might feel a nice kind of opening through the shoulder blade area. They're kind of similar to the cat-cow, but we're just kind of going sideways instead of down and up. Come back through to center. We're going to do that to the other side. And it might feel a little odd going to the opposite side. Don't think about it too much. Don't kind of stress about getting it right. Just moving the body. Take a little time here, checking in with how you feel. Breathing nice and smoothly. Do that one more time. And then coming up to your knees, so in this in this kneeling position with the chest up. Going to bring one foot forward, doesn't matter which one. Now you can either have the hip and knee in line with each other and the ankle, or you can bring the foot out to the side a little bit. If you need to, hold on to something for a little bit more stability. Find a little tuck of the pelvis under, so think of this hip coming through like that, and then it's going to add some movement here. So just shifting forward and back. You can bring the hand to the thigh. And just explore your range of motion. So you might go kind of deep into it. Just explore that movement there. We're going to hold here for a little bit. So just hold down into the stretch. Think about sinking the hips down towards the floor. Moving both hands to that front thigh if that feels more stable for you. Or again, find something to hold on to. Let's add some movement again. So shifting out and shifting into it. May need something underneath the back knee as well. If it feels like it's a little too much for it, it might be hard ground that you're on. So bringing a mat or a blanket or a cushion underneath the knee can help. And let's come down, hold into that again, just breathing. You might hear Aria snoring. Good, let's press back up. We're going to go into the other side. So I'll do it from the side this time. So leg comes forward, either in line or bring it out to the side a little bit. Find something to hold on if you need to. You can see my back foot, the top of the foot is on the floor, and then starting to find that movement. So shifting forward and back. We want to make sure that we're not dumping into our lower back. I'm actually just going to grab this yoga mat because it is a little bit hard underneath my knee. A little bit uncomfortable. So you want to tuck the pelvis under and then find the movement from there. That's what I was going to say before. Again, just exploring the movement, exploring the range of motion that you've got. You don't have to force it. Holding into the stretch, breathing nice and smoothly. Let's find that movement again, shifting back and in to the movement. And then coming down, holding one last time. You might do that for a minute or so on each side. Maybe I've done it a little bit longer, but it doesn't really matter. Lifting up and out of that, coming back down to the hands and knees. So I'm going to go for a bit of a spinal twist. So move that out of the way now. So on the hands and knees, knees under hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. Going to bring one hand just up towards the ear. And we're going to open to that side. The elbow leads the move. And then come back down through center. And then opening up to the side. Try and keep the hips square. And then coming back down through center. Let the elbow lead the way. Another option as well, if you like to bring the hand to the lower back. And then again, opening up, coming back down. So just kind of choose whatever feels best for your body. Really press into the supporting hand on the ground. Let's keep the shoulder away from the ear. Really nice way to get some movement through the thoracic spine. Can often get stuck. I know I've had recently a bit of stuckness. It's the scientific word for it. Through that area of the spine, and it can cause just a few issues, especially for the scapulars and the neck and the hips as well, as it all is connected. Do that one more time. And then we'll swap sides. So again, I'm just going to go to the side. So taking whatever option works best, I'll start with it near the forehead or near the ear, and then opening to the side. Let the elbow lead the way. Think about drawing the belly in lightly. Just a bit of a core brace there, just to protect through the lower back, and then that option if you want to, bringing the hand towards the lower back, and then again opening up, letting the elbow lead. Oh, a little crack there, pop. Yourself self-adjustments. Good, really pressing through the palm, focusing on the breath as well. So I'm not just mindlessly moving, really kind of get into the habit of finding that connection into your body. Let's do that one more time. And then shake out the arms. Then come on down to our back and get a nice opening through our hip area. So I'll do one from the front. And then what I'll do is I'll go to the side. So coming down onto your back, hug both knees in towards your chest. And then you're going to release one. Keep squeezing one knee in. You're going to open the one that you've let go of out to the side. Keep the knee bent. And then bring it down and around. Bring the foot to the floor. And then back up in towards the chest. Take the knee out wide. Bring the foot to the floor. Knee up into the chest. Some nice hip circles, as big or as small as you like. Do about 5 in one direction. I always think of the band when I say that. And then you're going to reverse that. So the foot's going to come down to the floor, take the knee out wide, and then circle it up and in. So bring the foot down, take the knee out, circle it up and in. Again, about 5 in that direction. Good. Squeeze that knee in once you're done. And we'll go to the other side. So I'm going to go from the side now. Sorry, Aria. I have to move. So let go of that opposite knee. Oh, okay, you're going to leave me now. And then take the knee out and around. Bring the foot to the floor. Bring it back in. You might hear some clicks and some clacks. I know my left hip makes a bit of a popping sound, a clunky sound. I've actually found since I've been doing this quite regularly, it's calmed down a little bit. Good, going back in the opposite direction, foot down, knee out, and then up and around. So don't kind of feel like you've got to move into pain. If something's really painful, just back out of it a little bit or don't go quite as big. I think I've done one more, but that's okay. And then hug both knees in towards your chest. Take a little roll around on the spine. And then coming on up, it's going to come to a seated position. I'm going to take one leg out. Again, don't worry about which leg it is. Bring one foot in towards the groin. Sitting up nice and tall, so make sure both your sit bones are on the floor or whatever you're sitting on. Now we're going to often, like if we're doing like a yoga practice or stretching kind of thing, we would turn to the leg that's long and then fold over it. We're going to do something that's going to feel a little kind of counterintuitive. We're going to turn to this leg here, bring your arm down onto the leg that's long or just the thigh, it's just for support, maybe the hands on the ground. So we're turning the chest to the bent leg. Going to reach the arm up and then shift over to the side. And then come up and out of it. So just keep moving in and out of that. And really focus on, so you're not here, you're not kind of leaning over. The chest is open, the shoulders back. Really nice, just down the side of the body into the lower back area, and we're going to hold into a stretch, breathing nice and smoothly. And then lifting up and out. I'm going to go to the opposite side, so swapping legs over, one foot comes in, one leg goes out, and then we're turning to that bent thigh or bent knee and reaching that arm up and over. And just be willing to negotiate with yourself about the movement on each side. So it might look really different. So don't kind of get too caught up in having it to be the same or even worrying about why it doesn't feel the same. Just kind of work with where it's at right now. I know mine definitely feel pretty different. This side feels a lot tighter. And we'll hold into that stretch. Breathing nice and smoothly. Coming up and out, give the shoulders a little bit of a roll. You might want to take a little windshield wiper with the knees. I'm going to come into butterfly now. So sitting up tall, again, both sit bones or your butt cheeks are on the floor. Bringing the feet together and bring the feet as close as you can to the groin as possible. Let the knees come out to the side. So you can just give them a little bit of a kind of shake around there. You might find one knee's a little bit higher than the other one. Again, just work with it, don't stress about it. You're going to bring one hand behind you, and then you're taking the other hand, and we're going to press down and press ourselves away. So we're actually kind of pressing away from that knee as we press it down. You're going to feel an opening there through the hip, through the groin area. So keep the spine long, lightly draw the belly button in, and then pressing down and push away. Focusing on the breath. And again, you're not forcing it, you're not trying to like push it all the way down to the ground. Just kind of work it into where it feels like you can, maybe feel a bit of a stretch, but we're not trying to go to our I'm not trying to snap anything off. Good, and then hold that down, breathe into it. And then releasing. Might need to take a little moment between each side, and then we will go into the opposite side. So bring that other hand behind, take that hand to the knee, and you're pushing down and pushing away with the upper body. And then holding that stretch down. Good, releasing that, bring the legs out, give them a little bit of a shake. So we're going to come into a modified version of pigeon. And so one knee will come out, keep it in line with the hip. You can kind of square that off. So ankle, knee, knee, hip. And then the other leg's going to be bent. So it is a different version. If you want to go into that, you can, the full version of it. But today I'm just going to go with the modified version just to show that there are different options for things. And this can actually be quite nice as well, just to kind of get into this hip a little bit as well. You will get into the front of that hip if you go into the full version, but this is just a different option. So you can bring the hands out to the ground. So we're going to be shifting the body over the thigh and then pressing back up. So coming down, breathing in, breathing out as you press. You want to think though about using the muscles around the hip area to press yourself back up. So a little challenge is to kind of just lightly bring the hands to the thigh. So you're not actually using them to press up. You're mainly using the muscles of the hips. So coming forward over the thigh. I'll do this at the next side from the side. And then we'll come down into it and just hold just as far as feels okay. You don't have to come all the way down to the ground. So relaxing into that, breathing. And then pressing back up. And we will go to the other side. So I'll do this next one from the side. So lining that up, hip, knee, knee, ankle, and then that other leg is bent. You can even line that up with hip, knee, knee, ankle. And let's get into it. So shifting the body weight forward and then pressing back up. So again, just seeing if you can use the muscles around the hips. If you need to use the hands, please do. Just kind of working down into it as far as feels okay. And then coming down, holding into the stretch. Just relax as much as you can. And again, just see if you can bring the awareness into your body. Coming up and out, and just releasing through your legs. We're going to come into a half frog. We are going to be working up to full frog. It's going to be pretty intense, so just kind of work with where you're at. I'm going to move some of this stuff out of the way. So for half frog, coming up to the hands and knees to begin with. And then you're going to take one knee out to the side and take the back leg back. So we're going to just start by working into finding the position. So you don't want the knee up too high, and it doesn't need to come out super, super wide either. So it's kind of going to be just what works best for your body, what feels good. So bring the knee maybe in line with the hip to start, and then you can bring the bottom of the leg, ankle in line with the knee, foot out. If that doesn't feel good, bring it in a little bit closer. So you just find that position, the back leg is going to go back. So we're actually kind of bringing the hips down towards the floor. You might feel a bit of a hip flexor stretch there. Think about working the back leg back and then getting that knee out as wide as you can. So finding that position and then coming down to the ground. Now we're going to actually start to move this leg up and down like that. So you want to be laying down and then opening it up and coming back down. So getting all the muscles around the hips here, getting them working. Really important that they are strong and that they can actually switch on. Keeps our hips nice and stable, supports the core, supports the back. All kind of working together, and then just kind of working through that range of motion. Again, you might hear some little pops. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but we're not pushing into pain. So if this is actually painful for you, maybe just focus on holding into the stretch and just kind of work up to adding the movement in. It's definitely starting to kick in, getting those muscles fired up. Whew. Good, let's do that one more time. And then come on up, maybe we should have done pigeon after that. And then we will do the other side. Come on up again, take the knee out wide, and then take the back leg back long. Again, you might feel a nice stretch there through the hip flexor. Find the position that works best for you first. So you can just kind of explore that. Again, it might feel really different from side to side. And then coming on down, adding the movement in. And think about here, so as you bring the foot up, squeezing through the side of the hip here. Should feel that kicking in well and truly. Do that one more time. And then come on up. Take a little bit of any kind of movement that you need. And we're going to come into full frog now. So you're going to start on the hands and knees, and then the knees are going to come out wide. Now again, the feet here, you can line the ankle and the knee up. So just find kind of that widest position that feels good for you first, and then coming on down to the hands and knees, you're going to shift the hips back a little. Now you can play around with the feet position here. I'm just going to go from the side as well. So here, 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 and then you might kind of move your feet in and out and just kind of experiment with that a little bit. And then we'll start to just kind of move forward and back, in and out of it. And you want to find then a position that you can feel a stretch, relax into it as much as you can. Doesn't have to be excruciating. Really nice opening here for the inner thighs. Again, you can find a little bit of movement through it. You might find a different position this time that feels like you are getting a stretch. Holding into that breathing. And then very slowly pressing up, coming out. Whew. It's always a pretty intense one, regardless of what's going on in your body. I was training a client this morning and she was telling me about she used to do gymnastics when she was younger, and they used to, at the end of the session, they would literally hold them down and like splay their legs open to stretch them. She's got a little bit of PTSD from it, I think. I would as well. Sounds absolutely horrible. Anyway, so we're going to come down now into a Sphinx. Now, you can start with the elbows directly underneath the shoulders. That's going to make it pretty intense feeling in the lower back area. So we are compressing through the lower back here. So if you feel like there's a compressive feeling, that's because we are compressing it. If you know you've got some issues in the lower back and it doesn't feel good, bring your arms out further in front, and that's going to take some of that pressure off the lower back. So again, don't work into pain, but just know that we are compressing the lower back. It's not a bad thing what we're doing here. It's just how much is too much for you, and that is only something you know. So pressing into the forearms, lifting the chest, keep the shoulders down. Move the head around here and just make sure there's no jammed up feelings in the neck. Bring the head back through to center, slightly tuck the chin. So we're going to create some movement here. So you're going to roll up like that, squeeze the butt. So like you're taking the lower back up towards the ceiling, and then coming back through, pull the chest through like you're trying to pull yourself forward, but you're not actually moving. And then doing that again, squeeze the butt, rolling up, press down through the forearms, and then pull yourself through, lifting the chest. And just finding this movement now, just with your own breath and your own time. So finding these natural curves of the spine. And our spine is always moving like this, or it should be moving like this in a really subtle way every time you breathe in and out. So on the breath in, you go into some extension, which is what we're doing here. On the breath out, going into some flexion. And that should be subtly happening in your body with every breath. Holding down into Sphinx now, lifting the chest up, pressing through the forearms. You can squeeze the butt here. That will take some of that compressive feeling off the lower back. If it feels okay, you can let the butt relax, let the legs relax, and just sinking the belly down towards the floor. And then rolling down, press back into a child's pose, reversing that curve through the spine. Take a little moment here. And then coming up. Oh, thank you very much for joining me today. So some nice mobility work for your body. Doing something like that on a regular basis, 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes is going to have you feeling pretty damn good. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you next time.